Good evening and welcome to my closet. I'm Skye. I'm a British born Punjabi 40-year-old and I have 6 kids and I have been with my husband for 23 years. And my husband's black. He's Jamaican. Both his parents are Jamaican and like me, he is born in London and brought up here. So I just want to say, like, first and foremost, I think there's a lot of people that now are educated enough to not fear the systemic racism that we've been feeding our culture, our religion, our people, to make one another kind of hate each other. So, like, for example, in India, you have caste systems where, other castes think they're better than other castes because the jobs they do, the color of their skin, and then that stems to like whether you're Sikh, Hindu, Punjabi, Gujarati, Sri Lankan, Tamil, blah blah blah, and then furthermore, like to Africans, Caribbeans, and it's just like, come on, it's a joke. Why is it that every time I see Asians, when I say Asians, I'm talking about South Asians, I'm talking about Indians, Pakistanis, mainly Indians that are marrying without being prejudiced, like, because I don't have a problem. I believe that everyone should be able to be freely able to love whoever they choose to love and be happy with that, because we're in a very big world. We're all kind of mingling. If I lived in India and all I saw is Indian men, then I would be with an Indian man or woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the way I see it is we're in a big world and I'm free to love and be with whoever I choose, as is anyone else. And do you know what? Why? So my point is, what I've noticed historically is in the Asian community, when you marry a white person, it's like you're upgrading. But if you're marrying a black guy or even a Muslim, it's seen as like the bottom of the barrel. Like, what is that? So I'm here to say, do you know what? I feel that this has been partly, whether or not it goes back to the days where the British Empire went in and segregated the states in India and made Maharajas and made, separated Gujarat and Bangladesh and Pakistan and India, whether it was all of that that created that, with the background rapes and so forth and so forth. Because right now, what I have done is me and my husband have just we've just ordered an ancestry DNA box, and I'm very interested to see if I have any European in me, because pretty much these kind of features do not come, I don't think, historically from just my Indian bloodline, but the proof will be in the pudding when I get my DNA results through. So yeah, like, why? Like, I'm here to say, listen, many years ago, my mum would say that she was walking where we used to live in East London with my little brother at the time in the pushchair, and this guy was in a lorry or a truck or something, and he was driving towards her or alongside her, and he was quite slow, and she thought he was going to rob her for her jewellery. And you know what? Like, I was like, I've been hearing these kind of stories over the years, and I actually, there's some things that are quite poignant and stand out in your head. And I confronted my mum very recently, actually. I was like, how do you not know that he thought, wow, what a beautiful woman, I'm going to chat to her, and she hadn't thought about that. She just thought he was there to rob her for her gold, and she just scurried along where she needed to go. And that is because that is the mentality of stigma that's been played on in the minds of our people. So I need to say, look, now more than ever, we all need to come together. Black lives do matter. Our lives matter. All of our lives matter, but more so Black lives matter because they do. And as a mother with, sons that are mixed, that are predominantly half Jamaican, I am even more so like seeing these kids on the telly and thinking about my children. My son's out right now and I know he's not home till tomorrow, and I'm not fearful, but there is always that kind of thing at the back, that alarm that's going off in the back of your head where you won't sit at ease as a mum until your child is at home. And unfortunately, this is how the British and American society are now having to worry about our children. Yeah, but that's not what I've come on board to talk about. I've basically come on board to talk about us as people that want to be loved and that are not able to because they're trying to please their parents and their wider extended families or communities. Listen, I know more than two handfuls of people who have been living secret lives that are unfulfilled and they're unhappy. A few weeks ago, I saw on Instagram a Punjabi Sikh girl who ran away from home, supposedly, or went missing off of her daily walk. One of my nieces, my husband's brother's daughter, sent round this thing on her post to say this Sikh girl had gone missing. And I actually said, how do you not know, given lockdown, that this girl hasn't gone off to be with her partner, whoever that is, and tutus. Then it went round that, there was all this kind of, I don't even know what to call it, like slating the family and slating her and all these, I can't remember what group it was supporting the parents to find the person that went missing, but even they were refusing to comment, and there was this whole hoo-ha, and like my mum and her friends were sharing on Facebook, WhatsApp, like messages. And today my mum came round and showed me another message that now all of a sudden the girl is engaged to her black partner. I'm happy for that. I was worried that the girl was scurried off somewhere, like just to be murdered. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to say I'm really pleased to see that, but it's a shame that it had to come about it in that way. So look, I know of two women at the moment who are wonderful, beautiful souls that love their family to death, to the point where they are willing to live with mediocre relationships in secret without their parents knowing, without sometimes their siblings knowing, so that the family can live happily ever after. Me and my husband had a friend that he used to work with. She dated this guy for 20 years in secret. And over the 20 years that he was married, he was married to somebody. He, did so many different things in his life, had kids with other people. She, on the other hand, was just like being the dutiful daughter, like focused on her career and looked after her parents. And then sadly, it didn't end very well. And she didn't really get to live, literally, without going into too much detail. She was with the partner. She actually then after 20 years, told her parents what was what and left her family and got with this guy who then murdered her, and she'd never loved anyone else apart from her parents. So that's quite drastic, but well, it's not drastic, it's really, really, really surreal. That, and I don't know, you just don't know what happens behind closed doors. But what I do know is that when I was at college, I was with this girl who was beautiful, lively, the kind of trendy, the face of the party. She was just so wonderful. And she left home because she wanted to travel. She just wanted to like have a career, wanted to be like a rep at a tour, kind of 18 to 30 club. She did all of that. But she had to do it without the support of her family. So traditionally, a lot of Sikh families want you to do XYZ, achieve XYZ educationally, follow a certain path. I've never really been into science and stuff, but my mum was kind of like, it was like a destined dream to have me do the sciences and try and follow the doctor route. That was not me. That's never been me. And I was just into art, and I wasn't allowed to pursue that. So now how I parent my children is that, if you're good at something, follow that path, enjoy what you're doing and harness what you're good at. And then, just take it from there, because, it's all about opportunities. The way I parent my children is that, there is no sort of expiry date to when you can learn and do something. Let's just try and experience everything and try and do what we can with what we've got and just be loving and have some fun. We're a really loud, happy, chaotic family, but I won't talk about them right now. So I had this friend, I'll call her Sandy, and so we went to college, and for years and years and years just lost touch. We reconnected for about 2 years. And then I remember at that point I had 2 kids and I was pregnant with my third. And then I had him, my third son. And there was some work going on in my apartment at the time. So I went to stay at my mum's. So even though, I'm married to a Jamaican guy and I've done everything in a non-traditional way. So I had my child, then, then we moved in together, blah, blah. We did everything everything the wrong way around. We got married right at the end. Anyway, I won't talk about that right now. So Sandy came to visit me at my parents' house. And I think it really hit home for her that, she didn't have kids. She wasn't with anyone. She'd done well career-wise. She became she'd gone into quite a professional field. She had her own place. She had her own mortgage. She converted to Christianity and was with a really, really lovely community there where she was going to her congregation. So what had happened was she'd come round and she couldn't believe how accepting my family were of me and embracing of me and my children and my newborn. So as a Sikh woman, Punjabi woman, for every child I've stayed home for 40 days with the baby, and I've had things like banjiri, which is stuff that you eat that helps bring in your milk, and it's like comfort food and it's traditional, and I've tried to rest where I can and stuff. And so this was all a bit of a shock to her, and she was just like, what, I literally didn't even realize that she was at the brink of where she was. So cut a long story short, I went to see her when my little one was a couple of months old and I was out and about with him. Knocked on her apartment door and her neighbour came out to let me know that she had taken her own life. I didn't believe them, so I went to the local police station, and they couldn't tell me too much, but they confirmed it. And sadly, it was just me and one other guy that I'd gone to college with, who knew of her, that I could share that with. And sadly, a very beautiful life lost way too soon, just because she couldn't be who she wanted to be and just be loved by her family, just loved and accepted by her brothers, her sister, and her parents. And ultimately, that's all we want. So I love my parents, and for whatever we've been through in life, you know, with families and so on and so on, I sincerely love my parents. I respect my parents. And just like a lot of these women I'm talking to you about have. And do you know what? It's not been easy. So people look at me and they think, wow, she's, you know, she, like, whatever, she's brave, whatever. But it's not come without sacrifice. But I wouldn't change it. So you know, when I say it's not come without sacrifice, a lot of the material things that you get as an Indian, a daughter getting married, you know, the dowry, the stuff that you would normally associate with getting married and stuff. I didn't get all of that. So, but do you know what? It's not it's helped me stay grounded, because everything we have achieved, me and my husband, or me, has been in our own right, and it's been very humbly embraced by the two of us, and we've been very fortunate, very grateful that we have had our health in this, and we have been together. Sorry, that's one of the babies staring. And we have been one in our togetherness. So I come from a place of real, one side I'm really like pissed that people have to go through this shit, and then the other side of me feels, one side of me feels like, look, we've come a long way, because there are so many girls out there, so many women out there that are living their best lives, living as they want to be. But the thing is, a lot of them are living in judgment. So I know of one woman that I've connected with recently who, you know, she says people find her very alluring because of, you know, being an Indian girl with a black guy and having kids and not being married or whatever. I actually met one woman at playgroup, a beautiful Pakistani Muslim girl who is from, I don't know, up north or down south. It's really, really far away. I don't want to name the place because I'm not good with geography, and I don't want to name her. So she was being forced by her family to marry her cousin. Traditionally, that happens with Pakistani Muslims. She didn't want to do that. She said to her parents, look, if I find a nice Muslim guy in my own right, would you be happy with that? And they were like, nope. So she actually did go out of her way, found somebody, a black guy who's a Muslim. That wasn't good enough, but she was like, hey ho, got married to him, had a baby with him. It didn't work out with them, but they're still very much together in a positive way to raise their son. And testimony to that, you know, her sisters are slowly starting to reconnect with her, as is her mum. And, you know, that's really, some people have to really, what's sad is that we don't let our children just be. And I know a lot of people do, but there are some that still don't. So I'm not just slandering all of our Sikh community or Pakistani Muslim community or any community. I'm just literally saying that I think we need to let our women love and be loved. And even our young men. So there's a couple of young guys that I went to uni with, and bearing in mind I left uni in 2003, that there were guys there that were Hindu, Punjabi, that were gay, but they were undercover, so on the down low. So it's, let people love and be loved, and let our children be who they need and want to be, and then you'll be happy. Because do you know what we've found over the years, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize this, is that you're listening and being dictated to by auntie G's, uncles, mamas, mummies, chachas, chachis, fufras, boys, dais, whatever. And this auntie G saw so and so smoking or drinking or going to this or doing that or in someone's car. When you're poorly or when you're ill, are these people going to look after you, or is it your child? Who's going to love you through and through? Your child. Not no women at the temple or at the mandir or at the community centre. Or do you know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit about them and what they think? Because let me tell you something. There was a point in my childhood where my parents were going through some stuff, and my mum needed to make a decision, and she didn't make the decision she wanted to make. So she listened to one of her friends, because one of her friends was like, well, what are people going to think? And then, again, 2 twos now. Fast forward 15 years, similar thing happened to my friend, my mum's friend, that same friend. And she did exactly what she told my mum not to do. So, and she's living her best life now. So all I've got to say is, don't worry about what anyone else has got going on. Some of this might sound really vague, and some of this might really be crucial for somebody out there, and I really hope it does help somebody. Just go with what your heart says. Do you know, when my mum found out about me, she found out that I was pregnant with my first son, and I was quite far gone. And I kind of didn't know how it was going to end, because many, many years ago, something really devastating happened in my dad's family, and something then happened to my dad later on in his life, and I didn't want to be the third thing that tipped him over the edge. So what had happened with my mum, I'm finding out, my mum met my husband the day I was giving birth in the labour room. Yeah, so I guess that's going to have to be a chapter continued. Put down in the comments if you want me to tell you that story. So, God, I've been waffling so much. But fast forward like 15, 20 years, I've had aunts, and I have had judges, and I have had my family doctor, who's retired now, and we're now with the medical centre, that have turned around and told my mum and told me how proud they are of me for living for my true self. There are many me's out there, and I just want to encourage you, like, you've got one life, you've got to stay grounded, you've got to be very brave, and just, you know what the hardest thing is? To come out and tell your family who you really are, in terms of who you really love. And I know sometimes we can tell our siblings and we can't always tell our parents. So I did cop out, and I didn't tell my parents. They got told about myself. And I've worked tirelessly for years to build a relationship with my parents. And it's been Do you know what? It's been a very interesting and very special relationship, and I'm very thankful that I've been stubborn in never giving my parents, never letting their words, never taking too seriously what they say. So like they were like, get out, never come to my house again, I'm not going to leave you anything, you're dead to me, all these different names and stuff. But I would still go around there. I would still, I know it sounds stupid, but I'd still go around there, and I would still keep the key to the house. I'd still, you know, say, well, you know, let them know in layman's terms, well, you're saying all of this, but at the end of the day, I am your daughter. At the end of the day, this is your grandchild. At the end of the day, whatever. And kind of, without being arrogant, you know, I was able to get the message across, and stay close to them, to the point where next week my parents are coming away with me and the children, not my eldest because he's big and working, not hubby because he's working, but we're going to do a caravan holiday, and I'm so happy because I get to have them all to myself. So family, I think there's some cats outside fighting. Family is everything. I think, you know, when we put our egos to the side, because I say some shit that ain't good sometimes, and I get a bit resentful that, yeah, the boys get so much favoritism, get everything, and that is another topic I'd like to talk about. So please let me know down below if you'd like to talk about that, or you'd like me to talk about that in another video. So I haven't really written anything down to talk about, so I have probably gone off tangent a little bit. I haven't given a lot away of my story completely, so I could always go into that as well. If you'd like that, let me know similarly. But I just want to say, look, there's a lot of work to be done for us, if we're going through stuff. I have seen far too many couples be together for years, and I'm talking about Asian and black couples from experience that have been together for years, like moved in with them, and then at a moment's notice, because mummy and daddy want to see them get married, like just say goodbye to that partner and go off and swan off and get married to whoever mum and dad has, and then have kids and have a whole family, and then meanwhile left that other person to hang and dry. And I think, well, you're just so scared that you're just willing to not be happy for the rest of your life for, I don't know, to make, so this systematic regime of arranged marriage. I know we don't have arranged marriage anymore in the same sense, because I know a lot of people that are having introductions and then having love marriages and so on and so on, and just straight having love marriages. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't want to get so sidetracked, but there are a lot of interfering parents that have affected relationships, and then there are a lot of people, children I'll call them, who've gone into relationships with people and then just fucked them off to go and do what mum and dad ask of them, because they're too shit scared to live their own life and be happy. You know, I'm not going to say living in the way, so what I have now, I'm happy. You can see it in my face. Like, people my age do not look like this. They do not wear happiness. And I look like this because I've been happily in love with the same person for over 20 odd years. Now, they sacrifice that for status not even status, culture, family, caste, and then are they truly living their authentic self? Are they really happy? And I'd like to hear from people, and I'd like if you'd leave me a comment and let me know if you are a person, or if you've known a person that has had to forsake what they love, or who they love, or what they wanted to do, like a passion, because they had to be a dutiful housewife, or they had to get married, or they had to move to Canada and get married to somebody that owns a chain of hotels, because they were out having too much fun, being too Western for mummy and daddy over here. I'm going to stop waffling. It's Friday night. It's late. I've finished my wine. Feeling a bit tipsy. Thank you for listening, and I'd love to connect with you all soon. I hope you've been encouraged. I hope you stay blessed. Peace.